city of palaces and castles. Ethiopia in the 17th century. For the first time in the country's history, Kaiser Fasilides began with the construction of a walled palace. Until then, the emperors of that time took part in various campaigns during the dry season. Only during the rainy season was the court located in a camp. So, in the course of a century, a huge fortification was built with several royal palaces and a number of churches. Emperor Johannes, son of Fasilides, took over the throne after his father's death in 1667, when he had the palace considerably extended. But apart from the library tower and an adjoining wall, little of it is visible today. The remaining architecture is reminiscent of European castles. The next emperor, Fasilides' grandson Iyasu I, had a further two-story palace built close to the original one. An imposing building of 40 meters in length and with 13 additional towers. Architectural elements from Arabia, Africa and Europe were artfully united. Here too, a tall, domed main hall, used mainly for formal events. However, the emperor's living areas were far smaller. In those days, envoys of the Pope were duly received, and Gondar experienced an economic boom. Local art also enjoyed a period of prosperity. Dawit III, son of Emperor Iyasu, had his palace built in the north of Fasil Gebi, protected by a 900-meter-long wall. The large ballroom was known as Singer Hall because within it were held contests of wandering minstrels, and Dawit played the harp. Today the lions' cages are empty, but Haile Selassie, the last emperor of Ethiopia, possessed one as a symbol of his origin, as having been from within the Judah tribe. Even the archive is like a small castle, and yet was home to so much of Gondar's art and culture, Gondar having been the religious center of Ethiopia. In 1668, a council gave the last Roman Catholics the choice of changing to the Orthodox faith or leaving the country. The former Turkish baths are now in ruins, but they were very much in evidence at that time and no doubt gave much comfort to those who used them. However, all of this was little known outside Ethiopia due to the country's self-imposed isolation. Under Emperor Bakafa, imperial power was consolidated for the last time. He too had a palace built within the Fasil Gebi. It consisted of two 50-meter-long buildings, of which the middle courtyard was covered with a tented roof for various official receptions. Empress Mentewab, who ruled most of the time for her son Iyasu II, allowed the palace to be built. A final flowering of courtly power began at the end of the 17th century and attracted merchants from Europe, the Middle East and the Arabian Peninsula. Just outside the city centre, a sturdy wall surrounds a garden planted with trees, at the centre of which is a castle and moat, the bathroom of Phasaelidus. Situated in the centre of a large water basin, the building was constructed on columns accessible via a bridge. On the ground floor, the emperor took off his royal insignia, undressed in the window recess, and then had his bath on the balcony. On a hill in the town, Emperor Iyasu I had the Debre Birhan Selassie built, the monastery of the Holy Trinity on the Mountain of Light. Through a gate tower, both men and women believers entered the complex, which was encircled by a wall, and gathered in the courtyard around the church. The church was built according to the unusual religious form of a long-drawn axiomatic basilica. Simple images of Jesus, the Holy Trinity, and Our Lady decorate the external gallery, protected by a canopy supported by numerous columns. Wonderful murals adorn the interior. On the walls there are elaborate biblical scenes and motifs of traditional legends. The heads of angels on the ceiling bring to mind the souls of the beheaded. On another hill is the complex of Kasquam, well protected behind strong walls, with the Debrecen High Church and the Empress Palace. Stored in a small adjoining building are the last memories of the luxury, art and knowledge of those bygone times. And the remains of the Empress and her son. Set in a magnificent location overlooking the city, the palace ruins stimulate the imagination to how splendid this all once was. It was also here that Empress Mentawab once resided when life in Fazl Gebe became perilous.